Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Michael W. came to me with an idea, and that was, hey, can Chalice of the Void work in a Painter deck list? And my response was basically, yeah, anything works in a Painter deck list because the shell is really effing good. So let's take a look at kind of what we're going to be doing today. So this deck list is roughly based on the blue-black painter deck list that I 5-0'd with a while back. But Michael made some changes, and I made some changes, and then this is kind of the happy medium point that we ended up with. So as a starting point, in case you're not aware of the combo, Painter Servant allows you to make all cards a certain color. And when combined with Grindstone, this is a two-card combo that infinitely mills out your opponent. So unless they have something like an Emrakul in their deck, you just win the game with this two-card combo. So this is a pretty popular Legacy combo. It's rarely one of the best decks in the metagame, but if there are some bans, expect this deck list, or maybe not this exact 75, but expect this archetype to be more popular than it is now. It's very good. It's very resilient. And so kind of what Michael had in mind was, if you have Urza's Saga that allows you to sneak a Grindstone into play, you can just use your like Ancient Tomb and Mox Opal mana in order to power out Chalice of the Void earlier. And then Chalice of the Void protects your Painter from Swords to Plowshares, Lightning Bolt, Fatal Push, and removal spells of that nature. We do only have 7 1-drops in the deck, so we have a pretty reasonable tight package around this Urza Saga. Michael's deck list originally only had 3 Grindstones. I bumped it up to the 4th because like it is a combo piece. You always want to have it. Now, the other thing that makes this blue interesting is Transmute Artifact. The hands with Painter are significantly better than the hands without Painter because you have access to Urza Saga to help you find the Grindstone. Well, Transmute Artifact is supposed to allow you to find that Painter. And towards the top end of the curve, we have our Thought Casts and Thought Monitors to help us churn through the deck a little bit faster. And we also have Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas, which can be a giant death laser or can help you kind of go and find some other cards. Michael did also send me a colorless version that wanted to play like Thought-Knot Seers and Sphere of Resistance in addition to Chalice. But I felt like just like the raw card advantage and the interaction that the blue offered was probably going to be better overall. As far as the sideboard goes, I've kind of grouped these things together into 2 distinct piles. Pile on the right here is for our unfair matchups with an emphasis on graveyard-based combo that tends to be pretty popular in leagues. And the stuff in this other pile here is for the fair matchups. One thing that I thought was important is for the matchups where Chalice of the Void isn't good, I wanted to have a decent number of fair cards that I could just board in and substitute for those. Hence, Thoughtcast, Thought Monitor, and Crucible of Worlds as a 4-card package that I could bring in literally no matter what the matchup is and probably be happy enough with them. And then we just have a few, I won't call them silver bullets because we can't really like hunt for them. We have Hercule's Recall for the opposing Urza Saga decks, and we have Plague Engineers for decks like Death and Taxes and Elves. I've been super impressed by Painter every time that I have played it since the printing of Urza Saga, so I expect this league to go well. Kind of the big question this league is going to be, do we have enough colored mana to consistently cast like Baleful Strix and Transmute Artifact and Tezzeret to a lesser extent on curve? And it's a little dicey. We'll kind of see how it plays out in practice. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I am on my way to 9,000 subs, and I'm hoping to hit that before the end of the year. And it's going to be close. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, if you're a regular already, please throw me a like before we get started. It's the easiest way to support my content for free. And come on down into the comments if you have any thoughts on the deck list itself. Like, should we actually be running 3 singleton Urza Saga targets if we also have Chalice of the Void when we're more likely to draw some of these? Like, there's some real deck building considerations that I didn't go into here. Okay, let's battle. Okay, how is this gonna go? So, turn 1 Ancient Tomb. Oh no, says the opponent. Good luck. Okay, so turn 1 Ancient Tomb, Dimir Signet. Turn 2 have 4 mana, 1 artifact. Yeah, this hand probably goes somewhere. I'm gonna keep this. There's also some worlds where I'm supposed to play the Grindstone on 1. But I think getting my mana advantage while I can is kind of important. This is also color fixing. And I'm totally good with that. Okay. All right. So I think we are playing against Lincoln Baxter III, owner of Top Deck. So this is probably, this is probably a 4-color loam or 4-color loam adjacent deck list. Okay, can I Thoughtcast this turn and play double Grindstone? Yes, I can. I can also just, like, straight up put my opponent dead next turn, right? I can go 2 mana, Transmute Artifact, turn Dimir Signet into Painter, play double Grindstone, and just say, like, can you beat this? Yeah, I think I'm good with that. I want to keep the Dimir Signet. I'm always playing Grindstone, and I'm always playing the second Grindstone. Because I can just turn 1 Grindstone into a Painter, and just keep my mana. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to do that. Oh shit, this isn't X+1, this is X, isn't it? Fuck. Okay, we're gonna make this look like this was my plan, okay? This is fine. We're just gonna get rid of that life from the loam. I have made this look reasonable. Wonder if what I did objectively was actually a mistake. Now I don't get got by, like, the Abrupt Decay type cards. Yeah, we'll see. I probably should have just tried to put my opponent dead next turn. Sure, Teferi's fine. I think you can bounce my Grindstone or my Dimir Signet to slow me down. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, there's another Transmute Artifact. That's fine. I'll replay Dimir Signet. Now, I have 1, 2, 3. This is essentially 4, 5. I'll Thoughtcast. Oh, yeah. So next turn, if I hit a land, I just have lethal. Nice. Okay, there's the Teferi Plus. My opponent can have a lot of different angles of interaction, but I just kind of feel like they're going to be slower than I am. I mean, that historically has been one of the problems with Lincoln's deck list. It, like, has incredible inevitability, but your rounds tend to go just so absolutely long, and your decisions are really punishing if you mess things up. Ooh, buddy. A Blast Zone. That's really good here. So I'll take out their graveyard, but I lose a Grindstone there. I'm not sure how much that matters, though. This is 4 mana. I only control 1 artifact right now. I have a good... I just want to put, like, 2 painters into play. I might just want to put 2 painters into play. Like, losing the Dimir Signet sucks a little bit. I could also just turn it into Grindstone and say, like, hey, deal with one of these or you're dead. I don't hate that. So I'll Transmute Artifact. Let's turn this into Grindstone. And I'll play Painter. I don't want... I'm just going to pick some random color. Everything's red for the aesthetic. I don't want to pick blue because my opponent might have Force of Wills. I don't know. I don't remember what exactly Lincoln's deck list looks like. Okay, sure. Alright, there's an Abrupt Decay. That's fine. Don't get the Force of Will for multiple different reasons. Ooh! Alright. I need to increase my artifact count to get to Thought Monitors. I'm kind of stuck for the moment. I only have 2 Transmute Artifacts, but I really just wanted to draw more artifacts. This Teferi shutting down my Force of Wills is actually, like, such a big deal here. This game is tilting in favor of my opponent. Oh, gross. This is the point where I think I could realistically consider conceding, because I don't think I'm going to come back from, like, active Teferi and Jace with my opponent on 6 cards and me having 4 dead cards in hand. Yeah, I think I'm going to value my own time here, and just go ahead and concede this one. Alright, also the Void is not going to be good versus my opponent. I think I want the Force of Negations for their Planeswalkers. I think I want the ability to grind. I don't know that I'm actually going to mess with their graveyard. Crucible's okay. Needle's good. Foundry's kind of whatever. I don't know that I actually want Transmute Artifact in this matchup. Like, as we saw in that game, like, my opponent has a lot of interaction, so I'm not really looking for selection. I'm looking for this ability to grind as the game goes long and accidentally kill my opponent at some point. I think I like how I've boarded here. Okay, my opening hand does not have enough mana here. I'm gonna go ahead and ship this one, whereas this hand is very good. I think I'll pitch the Underground Sea here. I don't think I need the black mana. Play Urza Saga on 1. So there's worlds where I just start out this game by just making a bunch of constructs, and there's also worlds where I try to just goldfish my opponent as quickly as possible. And like I have a very real choice about which way I want to play this game. I think this game begins with Urza Saga construct tokens. I think since I have both combo pieces in hand, I'm going to make my opponent use their resources trying to stop these constructs, and there's going to be a lot of them. And then afterwards, I will like backdoor win via the combo. Okay, yep. So you've got Loam. Loam Wasteland would be very good, but they don't have that yet. So I'll go for end of turn construct token. It starts small. I'm not worried about it becoming large, though. Like, that is going to happen very, very naturally here. Okay, sure. Oh, okay, they're playing around Pithing Needle on Misty Rainforest since they have two, or since, like, that's something that could reasonably come in off of Urza Saga. That's fine. Heads up play from the opponent there. Okay, there's Construct 2. Do I just want to Soul Guide Lantern and take out that Life from Loam? Yes, I do. Because Wasteland is very good against me right now. What a jerk. So I have to just cycle this if I want to get rid of the Life from the Loam. I'll do it. It means my constructs are one smaller, but c'est la vie, right? I respect the attempt. Okay, so the Brainstorm's resolved. I will play a new mana source. Use that to cast a Grindstone. I will play a Lotus Petal here. And I'll attack for 4. My opponent got super aggressive with Sylvan Library. So they are potentially just dead next turn to the constructs. They are also dead next turn to the combo, though, right? So there is absolutely an incredible amount of pressure on my opponent here from multiple different angles. And we'll see if they can deal with it. Okay, there's a prismatic ending on the Grindstone. They're not dying to the combo. It didn't remove a creature, and I still have lethal on board. That may mean something like a dress. Oh, yeah. That may mean something like a dress down is coming. This is a strange turn. I think I'm going to attack and force my opponent to use their mana. Let's crash in for 8. Okay, there is the dress down that I expected. Okay, so now I think I want to make this construct token. If I play Painter's Servant right now, do I actually get the color? Also, like, do I actually want to cast the Painter's Servant and lose the Lotus Petal when that helps me make the Urza Saga construct tokens lethal? I think I'm just gonna pass here. Like, my Lotus Petal has real value. Because I make this a 3/3, I make this a 4/4, I make this a 5/5, I activate Retrofitter Foundry, it's a 6/6. Like, that one extra art. Well, I guess I would be replacing it with a new artifact. That's annoying because of my thought monitors, but like, it's happening. Okay, so we'll go end of turn, activate the Urza Saga. What is this? Crop rotation? Is my Urza Saga about to get wastelanded? It is. Okay. Goodbye. So this is now the same size as Leovold. This is now bigger than Leovold. Do I just attack now? I don't force a chump block yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and attack and see if my opponent does chump block. There's a couple different ways I can play this turn. If the Leovold ends up leaving play, I have some other lines. All right, my opponent is going to 2. I want to hold this thought monitor for a little while. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Tezzeret here. I'm just going to plus this so that Leovold can't attack and kill it. Ooh, Petal? I don't mind Petal here. Or, sorry, Opal here. Let's do that. So then I'll play that. And also just start threatening the combo this way. Everything's red. I guess by plussing, I didn't really keep into account that my opponent could just like activate Creeping Tar Pit. But if they activate Creeping Tar Pit and attack with Leovold, then they also need quite a bit. My opponent just attacks with Leovold. I can also just chump block with Tezzeret and then just Tezzeret laser my opponent's face for the win. So there's that. Okay, there's an Abrupt Decay. Ooh, and a Prismatic Ending. Okay. But opponent has to leave Leovold back, otherwise I Leovold plus. Oh, wow. So they have yet another removal spell? Or no, it's... They have to have either another Abrupt Decay or a Swords to Plowshares, or they die to Tezzeret. Or I can just plus Tezzeret and then play 2 different blockers. And just, like, not be... I think I'm just going to plus Tezzeret. A Strix is quite good here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take this. This isn't perfect. Like, this has some issues. Like, I'm not going to draw the card because of Leovold. But I think I am just going to try to present as many different... Oh, I miscounted that. Shit. I wanted to play this instead of the painter then. Okay. Finishing the thought, I just want to play as many lethal bodies as I can. And now my opponent has their work cut out for them. They get to look at a lot of cards because of Sylvan Library, and like my card advantage is currently off. But it costs them 4 mana to kill Tezzeret this turn. 3 lands plus Creeping Tar Pit. So they would need like another 1 mana answer to one of my things. Okay, here's some movement. Nope. False alarm. Okay, that's a Prismatic Ending on my Strix. Meaning that my Tezzeret can be attacked, and I'd either lose the Painter or the Tezzeret here. This does put my opponent to 1, so Waterlogged Grove is no longer a real mana source. Okay, that's an Assassin's Trophy. That's quite good. I'll pick up another black source here. An opponent chills at 1. Wall. Pretty decent. There's a new Tezzeret. And I believe I can just safely minus, turn that into a creature, and then bash in with both of my creatures for lethal. My opponent can only block one of them, and they can't tap this for mana. Okay, good stuff. Okay, so I've already sideboarded. I know my opponent now has Leovold. I don't think anything else I saw actually changes anything. I'm going to just play the game with the same configuration I just did. Okay, this opening hand does not have enough mana. Just full stop right there. This hand is pretty respectable. I will keep this, and I'm going to throw back the Underground Sea from this hand. So this is probably going to be turn 1 Painter Petal, turn 2 Crucible of Worlds, unless it's not. So we'll Urza Saga. I think I'm fine with using Lotus Petal to cast a Painter Servant here and just like get this in play and be threatening that combo. You know what? Everything's white now. So my opponent has to worry about the Grindstone base combo as well as these constructs I'm going to make that are just going to be large-ish anyway. And I just have Crucible of Worlds to recur the Urza Saga in the future anyway. I am off to a pretty strong start here. We'll see what my opponent can do. Like, they can just use 2 mana and answer Painter's Servant here. Oh, Null Rod. That's pretty reasonable. So I very much will be on the, like, Urza Saga is how I win plan here. My Grindstones get a lot less good with a Null Rod in play, and I'm not super great at answering that. Yeah, because I've got Hercules in the sideboard. Maybe Hercules should have been Brazen Borrower. No, I really want something that answers Urza Saga specifically. Okay. So, end step. I'll make my token. And then my Urza Saga will get wastelanded. Really? Okay. Was not expecting that. I guess it makes sense. So instead, I'll float a mana here. I really wish that my Mox Opal would work. It doesn't. I could preemptively Pithing Needle a Walker. I think I'm just going to grab Soul Guide Lantern and take that Wasteland out of their graveyard, though. Okay. Swamp into new painter. Everything is white and red, and I'll bash for 5. Okay, my opponent takes all of that, going to 13. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 artifacts. Hmm. Notably, my artifact lands are going to be off right now. Okay, that's fine. So I'm just going to fetch here. I'm going to get the basics. I'll play a Grindstone out. I'll bash in. If I lose like a Painter's Servant to an Endurance or something, that's not the end of the world. Okay, I mean, there's another green. Okay, it is an Endurance. So nobody's graveyard is getting nuked. I'll lose 1 Painter. My opponent will take 6. Okay, that's fine. This turn could be bad for me, though, because like Jace and Teferi can come down, bounce this Construct, and then I'm in kind of rough shape. I have the Crucible as my long-term plan for how I'm going to win this game. Oh, nice. All right, so I will play an Urza Saga. I will play a Crucible of Worlds. And I'll bash in with my 5/5, which I'm guessing gets a chump block here if my opponent can't just outright answer it. Okay, something is coming. Oh, it is a second Endurance. I mean, that's pretty good. It's a 1-for-1 trade here, so like it is what it is. So one of those is dead. I lose my Construct. Oh, I do lose my Graveyard though for Crucible reasons. I guess I have another Urza Saga. So like that's not the end of the world. Guess I'm scared of like a Life from the Loam lock. Ew. And still just make very large creatures though at the end of the day. Okay, crop rotation finds Wasteland. Wasteland blows up Saga, and then I'm in a pretty bad spot. Okay. So this is not a real magic card currently. So this costs 3 right now, which I don't have. I just have to pass the turn. And we'll see if my opponent like finds Life from the Loam, which is just very, very good against me right now. They are generally speaking pretty low on gas. Like they have the board stalled, but they can't use their life total as much of a resource. Okay, here we go. This is the sort of stuff that I'm looking for right now. Okay. So I'll just fetch, grab an Underground Sea. This is still 3. This is still 3. So I have this next turn, and then I can start chaining them together. We'll see what my opponent can do with their turn. Ooh, that's actually really annoying if they use that now, but they probably don't know that. Okay, so while I still can do this, I'll take my draw 2. All right, nice. Ancient Tomb's not actually bad here. It doesn't do anything this turn, but it makes multiple spells easier on my subsequent turns. Okay, no movement on the Blast Zone. I think they have to use that on things that are going to kill them, and they can't get it up to, like, Thought Monitor levels. Library. That fixes draws in a very nice way. Alright. So we'll do this. How many? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 1-mana draw 2. I guess I'll do this first. Okay. A new Urza Saga is fantastic. Guess I'll play my Strix first. I don't think there's anything that's going to change my mind from me wanting to play that land drop. But, you know, I can wait. Now, I probably don't play Grindstone. Probably just let that chill in my hand. The Thought Monitors are slow to get active, and honestly, at the beginning of the league, I considered going down to just like 2 of them. But like once you get into these late game scenarios where something has gone wrong and you can't easily win, just a 1-mana draw 2 on a 2/2 flyer is really, really good. But this is pretty late game, right? Like this is turn 9. Okay, Decay on a Strix. Reasonable. Like, it's a Death Toucher that can attack through Endurance without having to trade with it, which is a little spooky. Alright, no life loss there to the Sylvan Library, because then it shuts off the fetch land that's in play. Okay. Brainstorm away. I don't necessarily think that my opponent is dead on my next turn, but I can attack them to 1 if I want. Okay, that's a totally reasonable card. Ooh. That's pretty good for me. I have exactly enough mana to activate Urza's Saga while holding up Force of Will. So I will probably just go ahead and do that. I don't think I need to, like, throw away a body here in making an attack. It's also not crazy to consider just, like, playing out Baleful Strix as a Death Toucher, even if it even if it doesn't cantrip. Okay, Cabal Pit, sure. My opponent doesn't have anything that I can Force of Will this turn. Like, they're Hellbent right now. So that means that my Urza's Saga construct token is going to have free reign over, like, the next portion of this game. I don't need to hold up Force of Will since my opponent is Hellbent, so I don't have to take Ancient Tomb damage here. Nice. There's an 8/8. I will take the damage here to hold up Force of Will. There's a 10/10, or sorry, 9/9, which will turn into a 10/10. I think I just get Pithing Needle here. I'm going to name Blast Zone. Make it so that my 1-drops can't be swept off the battlefield. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, there is the concession. Oh, a hell of a grind. GG's, Lincoln. GG's. Okay, my opponent has revealed a Yorion here, which frequently means Death and Taxes. How does this hand look versus Death and Taxes? Okay. Seat, Opal, Grindstone, Retrofitter Foundry on turn 1. That's 4 artifacts. I'll have 3 mana on turn 2. I can just play a turn 2 Thought Monitor as a draw 2. This hand's fine. It's not, like, overly impressive or anything, but it's fine. Not every hand can just be, like, I have the turn 3 Goldfish. Oh, okay. So we are playing against some, like, Abundant Growth Yorion mid-rangey pile instead. That's totally fine. Ooh, Transmute Artifact's very good here. Alright. Land, Grindstone. I'll absolutely fight over that. I'll pitch the Transmute Artifact. I'm looking to win this game via grinding rather than just, like, immediately going for the win as quickly as possible. And I'll probably board out the Transmute Artifacts versus this deck, honestly. I don't like crop rotation style cards versus blue decks with counter spells. The awkward thing here is that if my opponent Prismatic Endings away one of these artifacts, I don't actually have the, like, 7 mana for a Thought Monitor on my turn 2. Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch here. Honestly, just to thin the deck. I'm not expecting... Well, I want to get an island on the off chance that my opponent is playing back to basics in game 1. I'm never going to need double black. I will do that. Alright. My draw to bird has arrived. Yeah, you can have your Icefang Coatl. My creature drew more cards. I think you're supposed to play that in response to this, though, so you can see if you draw, like, a force effect, rather than, like, with my ETB trigger on the stack. I don't think you need me to tell you that this hand is now very good. Like, I threaten a kill at any time of my choosing, and I just also have the ability to just start making 5/5s. Yeah, this is A-okay with me. Okay. Yeah, your bird's fine. Absolutely. Oh, nice. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just attack in with this, see if my opponent is willing to trade their Icefang Coatl for it. They do. So now the board's empty. And I'll play my Urza's Saga. I will play my Tezzeret. Ooh, force pitching Uro. That might mean that, like, the way is clear for me to just win this via Painter's Servant. Like, I just have play Painter's Servant into activate Grindstone as a thing that I can do. Okay, what did they just take out? They targeted my Retrofitter Foundry with me having a Grindstone in play? What the fuck? Yeah, put that Yorion into your hand. You just punted the game away. Okay, I mean, like, I'm obviously good with it. Yeah, so I just go land, 2 mana, Painter's Servant. You're dead. I don't understand why Retrofitter Foundry was more of a threat than anything else here. Yeah. Okay. I mean, what? So maybe the rationale is, like, you have an Urza Saga, this thing creating tokens is going to bury me, but, like, you have to respect the Splinter Twin situation of just, like, dying to me having a painter. So I want the ability to grind a little bit more versus this deck. Probably don't want Transmute artifacts. That will get me 2 of these things as a starting point. Then most of the rest of my cards are probably pretty good. I can consider like Crucible Thought Monitor, Grafdigger's Cage as things that I can do. I already have the Soul Guide Lantern as something that can muck with an Uro. I don't know if I actually need 2 things that muck with an Uro. I actually can probably go down on Chalice here. I don't think Chalice is particularly good in these like Prismatic Ending, Abrupt Decay style matchups where you're not just locking your opponent out of everything. That can get me these 3 cards. And then do I just play like 1 Force of Negation? Force of Negation isn't super good. Looks pretty though. Card looking pretty, a good reason to keep it in. Alright. Like, it can still stop Planeswalkers. And sometimes stopping something like a Prismatic Ending can be super relevant. This hand is exceptional if I had 1 more mana, but I don't. How's this hand? Not great. Is it worth going to 5? I'll have a turn 3 draw 2 in a lot of cases, and I just pitch the Force of Will here, so this hand looks like this. I don't know if that's a winning hand. I'm gonna dig deeper. I'll keep this. 1 of these goes back, and I have to pitch 1 more. Probably the Thought Monitor here. Yeah, this is a medium-looking hand. There's nothing overly impressive here. A little closer to being good. I think I'm just going to immediately play out my fetch land and fetch to thin the deck. Do I grab a basic? Or, like, back to basics very specifically? I think so. I think I grab a blue basic here. Yeah, your Ponder's fine. And that was a pretty quick no-shuffle. So let's grab this island. And call it a turn. Ooh! Does that actually do anything, though? Not this turn. It lets me Tezzeret next turn without the use of Mox Opal. Does kind of mean that I want to play Underground Sea this turn instead of Mox Opal, though. I am going to cast this now. It won't be turned on. Okay, that was good enough for a Force of Will. Absolutely happy with that. So by playing the Mox Opal out, I've left myself in the situation where I can play Tezzeret, Tezzeret minus, and attack for 5 next turn. It does mean that I can get my Mox Opal Prismatic Ending, but like this does not look like an appealing card to actually use a spell on right now. Oh, excuse me. What was that? Okay, that's a Life from the Loam returning 2 fetch lands. Sure, that's fine. Absolutely not an issue right now. It's Tezzeret time, baby. Alright. I know one of the cards in your hand is a land. Alright, that was good enough. So, is a Grindstone just lethal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, drawing a Grindstone means that I just have lethal next turn from this position. I don't... Oh, no. I am not particularly good at answering that card. Okay. Before more Tezzeret. So let's go land Tezzeret. Alright. Will you work? You too. Okay, so now the question is, like, what do I play around? I think I just plus here. My Tezzeret just, like, can't immediately die to this thing attacking, and I can still get a construct out of it later. Yeah, I'll pick up this Strix. This Strix is really good. Alright, nice. These aren't functional mana sources with the Collector Oof in play. I was not expecting, Collector Oof and Null Rod effects to be as common as they are right now when I, like, chose to play this deck today. Hey, Livy. Don't care about that. The Yorion is pretty far away from happening, although my opponent is low on cards. Like, they've got 2 after that draw. Yeah, do it again. Do not care. It's setting up to make their Yorion better, but they might die before that's relevant. My Tezzeret can take some damage. He is a strong boy. Alright, so starting point is absolutely play the Baleful Strix and see what happens. Okay. Urza Saga would be cool. Crucible's almost good. Crucible becomes very good quite quickly. Alright, So do I greed and plus the Tezzeret, or do I just get a 5/5? I think with 2 blockers, I greed plus. Nice. Not for this turn, obviously, but just generally speaking, that's the sort of stuff that I'm looking for. These 2 mana sources are off, so that means I will do this. Everything is white again. Yeah, so opponent would need 2 different removal spells here. Oh, they've returned to life from the loam. Interesting. This is quite strange to me. You have like a prismatic ending for x equals 4 or something? Okay, they do. Okay, so there is the prismatic ending. And why did you dredge the life from the loam? You can't play it this turn. Alright, how many artifacts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So Thoughtcast is a 1 mana draw 2. Yes. Okay. Thoughtcast is again going to be a 1 mana draw 2. But I think I'm supposed to start here, actually. Play Crucible. Use that to play Polluted Delta. I'll fetch a Swamp out of my deck. I'll use this to get another Baleful Strix in play. Grindstone is an artifact. And now I'll just attack for 1 with Baleful Strix a whole bunch of times. And I have Force of Will pitching Thoughtcast for my opponent's Yorion when that happens. I pretty much need to keep Force of Will active at all times, because I don't think I can beat, like, Yorion's body plus the draw 2 that's associated with it. Yeah, you can have those lands. I don't think those are super relevant right now. Yeah. Oh, nice. Another Strix. Which would I rather? I would rather play another Strix. So I'm going to go land, and I'm going to fetch. I'm going to thin that last Underground Sea out of my deck. Waiting to play cost. Do you have like an opposition agent? Okay. If you had the endurance, you could have kept me from making a land drop, though. But sure. Alright, there's Underground Sea. I'll fire off a new Baleful Strix. I'll fire off a new Baleful Strix. Again! The birds cometh! I want to play Grindstone. Sure, I'll play Grindstone. I don't think it matters too much whether or not I do. Not super expecting Blast Zone out of this deck. The hate cards will help me beat the Painter deck. Everything's fine. Narrator's voice. Everything was not fine. Okay, sure. Yeah, I don't know how my opponent is going to beat me long term without like an Uro. Okay, there's the Yorion to hand. I have this covered. A Pithing Needle. Sure. I don't know exactly what I want to Pithing Needle. Let's crash in with these. When it goes to 8 here, I guess I could just hard cast this Force of Will and use this Thoughtcast as a draw too. 3, 4, 5. Like I very easily have enough mana to just do that. And if I draw another blue card, I can still just pitch cast anyway. I can still do this again safely. Yup. This is fucking disgusting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can't safely just play another one. So I think I'll just pass my turn here. Now there's a very good chance I just hit a blue card. But I don't think I want to take that chance, given how good my position is, unless that Yorion resolves. Like, now they need to have, like, Yorion plus a Force of Will. Or I guess Force of Negation, too. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't help you not die in the air. That's fine. It's good. So my opponent's remaining 2 cards have to be Force of Will or Force of Negation plus blue card. Show me that you have it. You did not. Now I just have my opponent on a 2-turn clock in the air. Oh my god, and Urza Saga. Delicious. Do I attack with all of them? Yeah, I think I attack with all of them. I just don't want my opponent to magically avoid lethal somehow by gaining a little bit of life. Alright, so I'll play Urza Saga. Despite Leovold being here, I am just going to play this as something that has power and toughness. I will then play a Pithing Needle. I'm going to name Wasteland with this. I don't super expect that my opponent has that, but I want to play around it. Because the Urza Saga is something that can, like, beat me long term. Alright, there's a Field of the Dead. Okay, yeah, and there's the concession from our opponent. This is super grindy, but we're 2-0 right now. Okay, I'm looking at my opening hand here, and this just feels too mana light to me. Keep? I think I keep this and pitch the Baleful Strix since it's going to be a little hard to cast, and then this is a game where I actually consider putting a Chalice of the Void onto the stack for 1. Will depend a lot on, like, what my opponent does in their... Okay. So they're just going to make a Grizzlebrand on turn 1. And I beat that. I can beat that sometimes, right? Turn 1 Painter, turn 2 Grindstone, turn 3 Kill. 7, 14, 21. But I think I concede to a discard spell. Yeah, like... With this gone, it becomes incredibly unrealistic for me to win anymore. I guess I also die to a second creature coming into the graveyard because it becomes a 2-turn clock as well. Yeah, so I should be dead to a lot of things here. Okay, they target themselves again. For a Sarah's Emissary. So that's enough for them to have a 2-turn clock. Yeah, that's pretty legit. I'm just gonna kind of see what they name in a vacuum here. They've chosen Instance so that I can't actually do anything here. I'm gonna concede in that exact spot, maybe planting the idea that I can't do anything. Geez, are they gonna get another? All right. So the good news is I have a lot of stuff for this matchup. So I have to think about what I want to do regarding Chalice. So I know I want Age, Leyline, Force of Negations. This stuff is okay. Transmute Artifact's fine. Dimir Signet's fine. Am I going to cut the Chalices again? Like, the issue in this matchup specifically is that Grafdigger's Cage and Soul Guide Lanterns are cards that I want to cast every single game if I draw them. If I put a Chalice in play and that no longer becomes a card that I can cast, it's a huge deal. The Chalice does some work, and I can consider it on the play. I think Tezzeret is too slow. I think I don't need Tezzeret. I think I'm going to cut all of the Thought Monitors from my deck, specifically because I don't want my opponent to reanimate them. Like, for them to reanimate them and draw 2 after I've shut off their graveyard with a Leyline is kind of a beating. This still leaves me at 62. I think I need to cut all the Chalices and then keep Tezzerets in so that I have enough win conditions. Because, like, Thought Monitor pecking for 2 is a very real win condition. I think I can board out 3 win conditions. I don't think I can board out 5 win conditions. So this leaves me with Painter Combo, Urza Saga, and Tezzeret as ways that I can kill my opponent, not counting Baleful Strix as something that's fast enough to actually close out a game. Okay. Yep, sounds good. Okay. This is a very strange hand. I can cast a Transmute Artifact for, like, a Grafdigger's Cage or something on turn 2, but this runs into a lot of funky problems. Like, a discard spell, and this hand does nothing. I think I'm going to just mulligan this one. Yep, this hand is way better. Let's keep this and pitch the second Ancient Tomb here. Alright, revealing a Chancellor of the Annex. That's fine. So that just means I will cast a Grafdigger's Cage like this and pay for the tax. I'm not going to play out Mox Opal immediately because of the possibility of, what's it called, a Force of Vigor. Because that's something that would really mess with me right now if I were to, like, lose 2 permanents instead of 1. Sure. So I lose the Pithing Needle. That's fine. It wasn't going to be great anyway. All right. So now I do this. Now I do this. This means Metalcraft is on, and now I get to hold up Force of Negation from here. So my situation is safe adjacent, I'd say. I don't think I get to say it's 100% safe, but it's safe adjacent. I'm going to let this stuff resolve and then just counter the thing that answers the Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, there's one Grizzledad. Okay, so opponent doesn't have anything else. That's great for me. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, so I can hardcast both of these things. I'm just going to leave this fetch line in play until I decide what to do with it. Um, this is fine. I am okay doing that. Blood Moon is a thing that happens sometimes in these decks. So I'm just going to go ahead and Retrofitter Foundry. It's technically a win condition. It is a very slow win condition, but it is technically a win condition. Ooh. What thing do you have? Nothing. Nothing is my favorite thing for you to have. So that I don't just telegraph what I have, I am going to go ahead and do this. Okay, that's fine. I'll take my attack for 1. And then I think I'm okay with playing a Painter. I guess I have to do it off this Ancient Tomb, though. Sort of awkwardly. Because this still leaves up Hardcast Force of Negation. Everything's white. Everything's white. Okay. Opponent paused for a little while, and then, like, did not take an action. Okay. Your Thoughtseize resolves. Alright, so I lose Force of Will. Alright, and my opponent did not thankfully follow it up with something like a Serenity that just would have hosed me. So let's sacrifice that, turn that... Okay, my opponent's done with me. I think that game is technically far from over. But whatever. The best part here is that I did not actually show my opponent Leyline, so I can potentially just, like, open up on a Leyline hand and hose my opponent in this game, and get a freebie that way. Hey, speaking of that freebie Leyline hand, how does a Leyline with double Force of Will backup sound to you? Does that sound good? Because it sounds good to me. Okay, sure. Yep. Yeah, I mean, looting away. That's card disadvantage. Like, that was a pedal and a looting in order to start looking for an answer to this Leyline. Yep. Life's good. Beat. Grindstone. Opal. And then I'll pass the turn. Do I have a kill next turn? No, I'm a mana short of a kill next turn. But I will have a kill pretty darn quickly. Yep, looting away. Because this gives me Transmute Artifact. And then I only have 2 other mana. Well, okay, I guess I don't have a CMC2 artifact to just turn in. Yeah, you can unmask me. Absolutely. Like, I'm just going to hold up Force of Will. Oh, they take the Transmute Artifact. Sure. I guess that's fair. I guess they know about this one. So I'll just play out the Ancient Tomb. I can also consider just starting to manually grind my opponent. So this is 1, 2, 3 artifacts. I think I want to be able to potentially play a blue card or play an Urza Saga. I don't think I'm going to do other things here. Pass that Grindstone. Put this Lotus Petal into play. So at this point, my opponent is dead to a Painter. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern is not the worst here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can just safely play this out. That's absolutely fine. I do have to exile something from my own graveyard here. This is mandatory. Now I have the ability to hardcast 2 different Force of Wills. Where on that artifact? Absolutely. You bet. Like, the Leyline is my true shield here. Another Grindstone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can safely put this into play. Although I honestly don't know that I want to. Like, in the weird world where, like, a Serenity does somehow resolve, I would like to have some artifacts left over in hand. Okay, is my opponent dead immediately? So 2 mana, Transmute Artifact for a Grindstone. Paying the 1 extra to keep it, and then I have 3 to activate it. So yes, my opponent is dead immediately to this if they don't have an answer. I'll sacrifice a Grindstone. We'll get a Painter Servant. I will pay the 1. I will make everything blue, because I should technically do this in my opponent's upkeep. Grindstone. Target you. My opponent needs to have 2 different answers to this here. They do not. That is death for my opponent. And we are up to 3-0 with Painter. Hey folks, if you've made it this far in the video, you're probably enjoying my content. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. You know what they say, a subscriber a day keeps the mimics away. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this opening hand here. It's a little weird, but turn 1 Chalice of the Void into turn 2 Tezzeret seems bananas. So let's try it. You resolve. Do I need to play Lotus Petal now? I don't need to. I think I am going to, though. Like, there's some fringe reasons why I should and some fringe reasons why I shouldn't. Alright. So let's go. Yeah. Tezzeret. Alright, resolves. Okay, target artifact becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 5/5. So I can just turn my Chalice into this and start crashing in. And, whammy. Alright, so this is the first round that this Chalice of the Void is just looking dope. Okay. Grix slows me down a bit. Plus? I think I'll just plus. None of these are super good. I'll grab a Mox Opal. So let's go Seat. I think I'll go Seat into Strix. The one punish here is if I draw Urza's Saga, but keeping the Opal lets me play a blue card if I draw one. Alright, let's do that. And I don't think I'll attack with the Chalice of the Void. I just don't think I need to right now. Oh? We're playing against, like, Espervile? Wizard. Fancy. You're not a bird wizard. You're not a true wizard tribal deck. Okay, sure. Your plan regarding that. Okay, you bounce the Chalice out of the way. I'll recast that, maybe with Force of Will back up as well. Woohoo. Plus Mox, or I guess minus Mox Opal, kill Teferi. I don't think I'm going to want to cast this Transmute artifact. I think I want to save that as Force of Will fodder. The awkward part is... No, it's not actually that awkward. Okay, so I will minus on Mox Opal. I will now send both of these creatures at Teferi. And we'll see if my opponent wants to trade their Strix for my 5/5. They do. Teferi is now out of play, meaning that my Chalice of the Void resolves 100% of the time. Play this land, and redeploy that Chalice on 1. Oh, wow, they didn't even have the counterspell after bouncing it. They just wanted the value of, like, taking out the artifact creature. Sure. I have disgusting amounts of value currently. 1, 2, 3 artifacts currently. I think I just want to start by casting this. Uses my mana a little bit inefficiently. And maybe takes some unnecessary damage, but leaves me more open. I can decide whether or not I just want to animate something with a Tezzeret. Okay. Gonna admit that I'm a little confused. I have no idea what's going on the other side of the battlefield now that, like, these dark rituals are involved. Oh, it's a Flusterstorm. Okay, but, like, what the fuck is my opponent playing? Okay. So the original copy of Flusterstorm just gets countered by my Chalice. That still happens, and then it's these 3 copies that don't, so I can still just pay for my draw spell. Yes. Counter that. Draw 2. Make my land drop. Plus Tezzeret. Painter or Strix here? Strix is blue and pitches to Force of Will. Land also will pitch to Force of Will, though. Like a Painter. Unsure if this is better than just turning Chalice into an idiot and attacking. I'm just so confused about what my opponent is actually doing. Like, are they an Esper Doomsday list or something? Alright, you've got an LED. Okay, they are Doomsday. I'm gonna Force of Will pitch Transmute artifact. I don't think I need to be in a hurry to win this game. Okay, yeah, my opponent agrees. Alright, I would like these Force of Negations and some of these Thoughtcast type things are okay. Guide Lantern isn't great. Pithing Needle isn't great. Like, I can technically Pithing Needle some things like Street Wraith and Edge of Autumn in this matchup. I guess I can Pithing Needle Teferi, and that's reasonable. How do I feel about the Chalices? The Chalices are kind of whatever. Like, Chalice isn't great versus Doomsday, because you just build a pile with your Doomsday that allows you to win without casting cantrips. It's not that hard. And there's also some piles involving LED and Deep Analysis that, like, just ignore Chalice completely. I don't think I need Retrofitter Foundry. That can be these cards. And that's just a question of, like, how many draw effects do I want? Like, do I want to adjust my number of Thought Monitors? Also, like, do I even want the Chalices on the draw? I probably still want them. I can still turn 1 them on any Ancient Tomb hand and on some Lotus Petal, like Mox Opal hands as well. Yeah, am I just boarding 2 cards? I don't have a lot for this matchup. Yeah, okay. Also, just straight up, Grindstone can get super fucked up regarding some of my opponent's lines. Oh, sure. I have 2 Force of Negations. That's fine. The Fairy is a little awkward with this hand, specifically. And I think I'm going to play my Seat on turn 1. Because it, like, my Metalcraft count and my artifact count for some things like the Thought Monitors and Thought Casts is definitely relevant. Yeah. That's fine. See if my opponent can just go for glory here. Okay. So there's the Brainstorm. Seems like that's it for now. I know Flusterstorm is a thing. I can't really play around Flusterstorm too well right now. And also progress my board. So if I just go land pass, my opponent goes Doomsday and then Flusterstorms it. I lose that interaction anyway. I can play around Daze. My life total isn't super relevant in this matchup, so I think I am just going to go ahead and play around Daze by playing this Signet. Okay, it begins. So now they'll cast the Doomsday. I'll Force of Negation. Ooh. Okay, I mean, that doesn't matter. Like, they take 1 Force of Negation and have to beat a second one still. Yep. You have Silence as well. They do. Okay, that's fine. They can cast this Doomsday and just build a pile that beats Force of Negation. So I think my line is play Underground Sea, load a mana with Demir's Signet, get Grindstone, activate Grindstone, mill them, and then hope that I mill them in a way that leaves them dead. Ooh. Can I die now to a Deep Analysis pile? Like LED as their draw? Okay, so Edge of Autumn, crack. Okay, yep. That's a shame. Alright. We'll try again. I don't think I'm going to change anything here. Yes. I will absolutely keep this. So my starting point is Ancient Tomb, Chalice on 1. I'll see if that resolves. Okay, that does resolve. I will just play out this Mox Opal now. I don't think I want a Chalice on 0. I think a Chalice on 2 or a Chalice on 3 is more valuable than that. Okay. I cast this Lotus Petal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This means that hard cast Force of Will is an option. Next turn, I can cast a Chalice on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next turn, I can cast a Chalice on 3 and then lock out Doomsday. It's possible Chalice on 2 is better, but Chalice on 3 also stops Teferi from bouncing this stuff. Chalice on 2 stops their Baleful Strix, but also stops my Painter Servant. Alright. Do I just counter that? I probably just counter that. I'll just counter that. Yep, let's just stop that from happening. So now this isn't a valid mana source, though, which is a little weird. I think I'm just going to chill, though. Like, the Chalice on 3 is still kind of the dream. Ooh. Yeah, the Chalice on 3 was definitely the dream. This is bad. But with the Chalice on 1, I also can't Painter combo super easily. So that's a thing. Oh, that's awkward. So I will cast my Painter. Everything's blue? I think everything's blue. Now, I can put another Chalice out there, but I don't think I'm going to. So I am looking to draw a Transmute artifact. I can draw a Transmute artifact and then get that to get me my Grindstone, and that's how I win. Yeah, yep, okay. So I have 2 immediate outs. I have Urza Sagas that are slower outs than that. I didn't bring in Plague Engineer because I hadn't seen a Mentor yet. Okay. I will absolutely just take that hit. Honestly, my opponent could have considered attacking with all the Monk tokens. Like, there's a very good chance that I just let that... Oh, fuck me. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm basically on Transmute Artifact or Bust here. Like, this might be the turn where I just double fetch to Thin and pray. As, well, look at all these triggers. So that I can F6, I will just set a stop in my own turn. And those creatures get bigger. 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can just take all of that. 12 if they have another pump spell. So... Oh, I miscounted. 4, 8... Okay, yeah. Okay. Alright. Can't win them all. GG's. Just for funsies. Nope. Alright, final round here. We're probably playing against Cloudpost. I think that's what this player tends to play. I just have to mulligan that. That doesn't have enough land. This is a turn 3 Tezzeret, which is medium. I think I'll keep this, pitch the Chalice. So, of note, the Painter combo is a little harder to win with here because I have to also just play out what's it called? The Tormod's Crypt type thing to answer the Eldrazi before I can combo off. Soul Guide Lantern, there we go. That's the name of the card I'm looking for. Alright, Elvish Reclaimer to hand. Card's very good. Do I want to Force of Will? I don't really want to Force of Will after a mulligan, leaving me with nothing, but this card turning all of my opponent's lands into other, like, relevant cards is not really where I want to be. Okay, this is a fantastic draw for me. Alright. Now my hand's good. Alright, I can remove my own upkeep stop. I don't need that anymore. Okay, it's just another forest. Yeah. What? I'm sad. Alright. Doesn't work. I'm gonna go ahead and just fetch to Thin here. Pass the turn. I can technically get Retrofitter Foundry as something that I can start to use to quote unquote win the game. It's not great though. That's not what I'm looking for. Alright. So because Grindstone is so many hoops to jump through, I think I'm gonna just try to win the game this way. Let's just do this. Create my critter. I do have 3 mana untap this, but then not a 4th to activate it. So that just means I'm chilling for a little while. Opponent's absolutely favored here. Like, my Painter plan isn't fantastic versus them. I don't have great disruption for what they're doing. Bad combo. Yep. Don't have a blue card. Okay. I mean, that's annoying, but sure. So I think I will just cast this. Okay. That means the Painter combo is closer to live. Yeah. I guess take out a forest. Crash in for 1. And then I'll turn this into a Thopter. And then I'll turn the Thopter into a... what's the 4/4? Construct. Yep. And I took a land out of their graveyard. Okay. So end step. I'll pay 1. Make a Thopter. And yes, I will pay for both of these. Oh, I have to click on one of these. Sure. This Tabernacle is keeping me from holding up Force of Will. Which is definitely relevant. Like, maybe I could consider just leaving up Force of Will. But I kind of have a sad state of affairs here. Things get very dire. I can just sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern and try to spike another blue card. Not sure how great that really is in the grand scheme of things, though. Like, if I want to win via Painter combo, I just have to keep this around. I'm not on track to win via Painter combo, though. Is part of the problem. Okay. End of turn. Turn the Thopter into a 4/4. I can untap this and then make a 1/1 if I sacrifice the Lotus Petal. I don't think I want to do that. Alright, I've paid for both of my creatures. I'm very good at drawing the card Lotus Petal. So I've got that going for me. And I am now bashing for real amounts of damage instead of just like meaningless numbers. Okay, you'll pay for that. Okay, that's very bad for me. That just names Giant, and now this Force of Will that I have just like made available is no longer going to counter this card. Oh, that sucks. Okay, it's a Cloud Post and an Eye of Ugin. Okay, in what world do I win from here? I think the only worlds where I win now are the worlds where I combo off. So I think I am going to sacrifice both of my creatures to the Tabernacle here and not pay for them, and then try to get really lucky with like a Thought Cast draw or something. Alright. The Strix happens. Thought Monitor happens. I mean, that's Painter. I don't have Grindstone yet. So this is 3, 6, 7. That activates this. Okay, no, that's not really accurate, because Primeval Titan will attack, getting 2 more Cloud Posts. That's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 total mana, which means that I eat an Emrakul here. Not an Emrakul, an Olamog here. Okay, I think that's fine. I think I can concede there. Okay. I'm not good at this matchup. I have these 4 generic cards that I can board in for Chalices of the Void. I can consider playing Hurkyl's Recall to take opposing Pithing Needles off the table. I guess I'll do that and junk these. Like, the Pithing Needle shutting off the whole Grindstone plan is pretty rough, and just, like, also being able to shut off things like Tezzeret is pretty brutal. We are able to outgrind most decks in the format, but the person who has the deck that goes up to 15 is probably winning the very slow matchup. Okay, how is this hand? Ancient Tomb, Grindstone, Opal, only have 2 artifacts. Don't have mana for Baleful Strix quite yet. I'm gonna mulligan this. Okay, I mean, this hand seeks to win off of Urza Saga Construct tokens. That's fine. It's not great. It's fine. So I'll just play a land and pass. I'll play a turn 2 Urza Saga and Painter. If my opponent like did not have an Emrakul in their deck, then like I just have a turn 3 Goldfish, but they do. So, yeah, this deck happens to be very strangely good at fighting against Painter. Oh wow, they just named that over Grindstone. Okay. All right. Yeah. Everything's blue. Did I even show them Tezzeret Agent of Bolas, or do they just know? Sorry, a bunch of these games are starting to blur together. Like round 11 of Magic for me of the day. I get to be a degenerate while I'm home, not working over winter break. Okay, so my Urza Saga is about to get wastelanded and my plan falls apart. Rough. Oh, Yavimaya. Interesting. Okay. Oh, I see. Sure. Alright. So I'll do this. Crash in with this. My constructs will be bigger than your constructs. So, yeah, okay. That's annoying. Which thing are you blowing up? Alright, you're going after my Urza Saga. I will just make a new thing. This Tabernacle's super annoying, though. It means that I can't just keep easily developing my board. That seems like an exceptionally poor use of a Force of Vigor. You're supposed to let these Tabernacle triggers resolve first. So, like, now I know that I don't have to pay for the Painter, and I end up with another mana on my main phase here. That was super loose. Okay. I'll go land into Strix. So this is only a 2/2, so I don't want to attack this turn. Yeah, that was... I think my opponent thinks they're very far ahead, and then just did something that was very sloppy. Yeah, so they crop rotation their Urza Saga into a different land, and they can now just search for another Pithing Needle. Probably hitting Urza Saga this time. Okay, hitting Grindstone this time, sure. Alright. Yes. Yes. Thought cast, sure. Alright, just gonna be my turn. I'm just gonna poke with this. I will eventually get out of the range of caring about this Reclamation Sage. I'm not there yet. I know this does not, like, I don't have to use that fetch land because of this Yavimaya that's in play. I'm just going to take some lands out of the deck here. I am essentially looking for high impact cards that allow me to deal with the stuff that my opponent can do that goes over the top of my own stuff, and I'm just not there yet. I don't think I want my opponent to have an Elvish Reclaimer here. Let's force and pitch one of these two. Pitch the Thought Monitor here. Alright, I've paid for my stuff, and now I have a real turn. What do I want to do? I can either Thoughtcast or Painter Servant, not both. I think I want a Painter Servant. But I can do so like this. Alright. Everything is blue. Now that this is a 3/3, it can attack into Rex Sage successfully. Alright, so my opponent just takes the chump block there. That's fine. Okay. 1, 2. Alright, yeah, my opponent's not to like Primeval Titan mana yet or anything. Okay, I've paid for all my stuff. Now question is like, how do I proceed with the rest of the turn? Do I just play the Baleful Strix? I think I just play the Baleful Strix and increase my damage count. Yeah, this self-damage doesn't matter too much here, or I can just, like, tap it for green. Crash in for 7. Opponent's under a lot of pressure, and I can just, like, tap these Ancient Tombs to pay for all my stuff. 2, 3, 4. I mean, Force of Vigor's good. I, again, think that's exceptionally poor timing. Well, no, I think that's exceptionally poor timing, because I could have paid 4 mana for that stuff, and then like I'd be left with 3 mana. I guess it plays around Force of Negation. I'm going to just take this damage to leave myself with the maximum amount of mana. Oh, Crucible of Worlds is insane here. Alright, so let's go Crucible of Worlds. Use that to play Urza's Saga. I'll now do a 1 mana Thoughtcast. Play out an Opal. Play out a Grindstone. Crash in for 2. And I get to make a 1/1 here as well. Yeah. I think at this point I'm just going to pay colorless mana for these. And call that good. Okay, that increases. Do I even want to play the Delta from my graveyard? Not really, it costs me life. Let's just crash in for the 3 damage, and then I have my opponent dead next turn, at least in theory. Yep, that's a land. I guess, do you have a Titan? You do. Does that matter? I guess I can get, like, Glimmer Posts, or the thing that keeps them alive. Yeah, Glacial Chasm, there we go. Yeah. This is an annoying situation for me. Like, the Primeval Titan can't really attack. I also can't necessarily just keep building my board here. I'm not good at getting rid of lands. Alright, I've paid for all of my stuff. I'll now go ahead and make another one of these. Pithing Needle like an Eye of Ugin preemptively. Don't hate that. Okay. I will replay Urza Saga and call it a turn. Alright. Always yield to some of this stuff that's going on the other side. This is going to bring my opponent to 4 life. They have another Titan? They have another Titan. Okay. This just gets like double Glimmer Post, and this Glacial Chasm can stay around for like ever. Alright. I need to win via the combo, basically. Wait, hold on, no. I clicked the wrong thing. I want to sacrifice one of these and turn it into something else. Okay, I've paid for all my stuff. I guess I'll play this from the graveyard and just thin my last land out of my deck. It's so hard for me to win through those double Pithing Needles. I guess I can get Hurkyl's Recall. I boarded that in, right? I think I boarded those in. That's kind of my answer to what's going on over there. Oh, my opponent just dropped Glacial Chasm. Okay. I mean, I'll bite. Where does this go? Is it just a giant pile of posts? Yield to that. Okay, yep, it is a giant pile of posts. So I like block. That's all fine. Where is this going? Eye of Ugin is needled. You just have an Eldrazi in hand? Like, okay. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they can search up another thing. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Yes. Where else does this go? That's it? Okay. So I turn... Actually, do I want to turn the Thopter into a 4/4? I'm not sure that I want to turn the Thopter into a 4/4. Yeah, I'm unsure if I actually want to turn that into a 4/4. Okay. That's needled, which is a shame. Oh, shit, I clicked through my Urza Saga without making another construct. Grab a Soul Guide Lantern. It doesn't super matter, but I'll take out that Glacial Chasm. Okay, you got something else. Okay, they shuffle that back into the deck to give that another option. Okay. I have to get, like, both Hercule's Recall. Oh, they just junked my graveyard instead? Okay, sure. Thought they were gonna just save that card. Alright. I have to find both Hercule's Recall and a Painter. I found the Painter. I can attack with a couple 11/11s, but that doesn't really get me anywhere. This isn't indestructible. This is indestructible, so I'll chump block that. That junks a bunch of my cards. I'm not dead, but my situation isn't great. Actually, I might be dead to Emrakul. Didn't do math for that. Yeah. I think I'm dead to Emrakul. Kind of assuming that it's in my opponent's deck. I have to block both of these. And then I have to block 3 more creatures the following turn and sacrifice 8 total permanents. Yeah, okay. I think this is far enough gone that I can just concede this rather than think through these last couple of turns. And so we end up with a 3/2 in the league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. As always, no matter what you do with Painter, the deck list is just good. There's probably too many Thought Monitors in the main deck by, like, 1. Like, Thoughtcast might just be better than Thought Monitor here. Like, the Thought Monitors are really good in the end game when things get slow, but they're kind of weak in the early game. I don't think the Chalices ended up being super potent. Like, they're very good in some matchups, but so many decks just have Prismatic Ending now, and other just viable answers to Chalice. Teferi is another thing that we saw, Brazen Borrowers. So I don't know that, like, this Chalice build that sometimes causes you to trip over itself is better than other options. Like the Fiddlebender build I recently played, for example, and got a 5/0 with, like, that felt like it did much of the same grindy stuff that this one does, but tripped over itself a little bit less. As far as the sideboard goes, I think my general sideboard plan was fine. I do kind of wish that I had something like a Brazen Borrower that was just a generic catch-all answer. Plague Engineer was something that I don't think I brought in the entire league, although I would have if I knew that Doomsday deck was on Mentor. Maybe you can explore getting some Brazen Borrowers, or maybe something that answers a land into some of these slots. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, throw me a like on the way out, and if you have any thoughts, throw them in the comments. Have a great rest of the day, and if you end up wanting to try this one out, the deck list as well as my donation information is available in the video description. See ya!